You're listening to White Noise with your host, Drip, 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 Drip.
Welcome back, White Noise Year 2. As always, I am your host, Davis, aka Drip, joined by producer Khal, the founder of Black Wrestling. And if you see the man next to me, you know we're going to talk about one thing, and that's Mi Familia. This is Banks, formerly of Banks versus Davis, Random Acts of Podcast, Wiretap with Eve on the Black Announce Table Patreon. But before we get to Fast X, Khal, you had mentioned this on Thursday that no one's really talking about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. We didn't get to it 2 weeks ago, the last time we had an episode, and we took last week off. Right. Banks, I know you actually enjoyed Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, even though you were skeptical of it when that trailer dropped, and I said, watch this be amazing, and you had to eat your words.
Because you didn't think it was going to be good?
No, because I didn't really like the second one. I thought the story was good. The first one I enjoyed. The third one I was just like, why isn't it? I knew they had to, go home, but yeah, they went home in a good way. The finish was great, but
you was crying.
Yeah, no, legit. Like it
almost,
was a couple things. I'm like, yeah, no.
So real quick, let's spoiler warning for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. If you haven't seen it, we are going to have a detailed spoiler-filled discussion about it. But yeah,
if that's up, then you'll know the spoiler time. So fast
so
forward
please
to when it's not there.
Pause it, come back later on. Go see it. Again, it's a phenomenal movie.
Actually should go see it.
And it's following the Marvel pattern of one good movie, one bad movie. Like this follows Quantumania, which was it had its moments. And the only positives are a person who can't be talked about at the moment.
Yes, you can. Real life Creed.
I just saw photos of him and because he's with Megan Good.
Man, fuck him.
How the fuck did?
No, as soon as I saw that, I said, lock him up.
PR, Khal.
Well, yeah. Clearly, like there's nothing else to call it, but great PR. But
again, publicists are spin doctors for a reason. Like
they know.
But it's funny though now, and it's not to get tinfoil people, but it's funny. It used to be back in the day before the internet. You'd be like, oh, okay, maybe he's just redemption. But as soon as they put them together,
you know what that was.
You said what?
You knew what that was.
It's just funny that now people are like, okay, it used to be you could fool the sheep, now you can't. So it's like now they're like, all right, bro, it's a game. But hey, rent is due sometimes for people.
Facts.
But no, that's the thing where it's like I'm one of those people who definitely believes everything's a work until you prove me otherwise. Like Megan Good of all women with Jonathan Majors is like, well, it already rewrites the narrative of the last woman he was with being a white woman. So there's course correction there, like goodwill towards one audience. Like we have to win back a piece of fandom that you've lost because you already had them, but in some people's eyes, you were already,
he's sold out, so to speak.
Yeah, a villain of sorts in a different way. But then
Jesus Christ.
There's also the aspects of like,
they were already looking bad at him when he kept talking about that goddamn cup in his pocket.
You kept talking about that.
I read like 3 different interviews. He had different cup depending on what the size of my coat.
Well, people kept asking about that cup.
This is crazy though.
It's a work. It's definitely a work. Cause look at the camera shot. This is me being a hater too, so y'all gonna listen to me. But like the long shot, and then like look at this. They undercover. It look like some.
Yeah, that's how you know.
His hoodie is crazy.
That's how you know.
Hat glasses combo.
You know what I mean? He was hugged up with
That's how you know it's all staged. Because again, like the exact type of photos are super covered up, so you don't know it's them until so who sent these photos? Because these aren't taken And
the paparazzi photos look real good. That's like 4K right there.
Exactly.
So where are they going then? Like this, so they're not. I mean, if it's a work, so what do? They land and don't even see each other no more.
Probably.
Until his next project comes out, but he's supposed to have that bodybuilder movie, Magazine Dreams. Who knows if that gets any type of release now, given what's been going on.
Because I think that was supposed to be later this year.
Later in the
December.
year,
Yeah,
December
so
for awards season.
this jabroni was supposed to have 3 movies dropping this year and like 2 next year, and then so on and so forth.
He don't need no movies. Look at he got the
You
movie. He
know,
probably
can't keep his hands to himself even in this aspect.
Whose fault is that?
But
Me,
You think
she should have
go through all this?
Have to go through this.
Wait, she's like super Christian though, right?
no, that isn't that the course correction for her. Like Banks, you'd always say that she was with the Christian man covering up. Now she's out there living life.
Yeah, but when you gonna live life with me? I live a
So
easy
maybe
life.
it's good for her narrative. Like she's again the woman that can fix him. You know, like that's why if they ever do like a publicity, like they're on a red carpet or whatever. It's again, it's all branding, as Vince McMahon would say. It's branded entertainment.
Jesus.
Like,
It's definitely WWE type work, dude.
So, but he's happy to lean into this and not have to worry about people.
You gotta,
He's got to escape a bad movie. He's got to escape some allegations. Like
it's
there's
not a
the
bad
court
movie because he
hearing.
was the best part of the movie. Was the thing.
that movie was that Quantumania.
Yeah, he was the best part of it. And
He
then
was
Creed
he was very good in a bad movie.
Yeah, and then Creed 3 was really good, and he again was one of the best parts about it.
Creed 3. Fuck.
Great movie.
How many? There's been 3 Ant-Man movies now.
Yeah,
Jonathan Majors is starred in the 3rd best film in both of those franchises. Is my thing. Like at a Creed 3 is better than Creed 2.
It's a coin flip for me. I'd have to rewatch both because I rewatched 2 prior to seeing 3.
What's them jail? Did you
No.
see Creed 3, Banks?
Of course, I've seen it several times.
What's them jail bars went up around the ring? That coin flip is automatically going to Creed 2. I'm sorry. That was a little too.
Dave's kind of tripping. Creed 2 might be the best one of the whole.
First of all, because I am always like the sequel defender, like big Ocean's 12 guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny.
We ain't talking nothing Guardians 3 yet.
No, because it segues into it. Big Guardians Volume 2 person.
Mm-hmm.
Kurt Russell's great. I like again Baby Groot. The fact that the story that they tell in Volume 2 of like them actually trying to be a family even though they're still opposites. And when Nebula joins them, like I like Guardians Volume 2 a lot. And I'm a big sequel defender, but Ant-Man 2 versus because I had watched Ant-Man and the Wasp to be accurate prior to Quantumania, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is really just one of those like it would be if they had made it a TV show, we would have been like, this is too many episodes. But the fact that it's an hour and a 45-minute movie, it's like thankfully it's just this so we can get in, get out. Like because the whole point was just to give Evangeline Lilly a suit and call her the Wasp now. We didn't need like anything else except that. There were some funny moments, but yeah.
For the QAnon suit.
Yeah. But Quantumania over Ant-Man and the Wasp, just based off his performance, I would almost say so, but that's me showing my hand. But Creed 2 over Creed 3, it would depend really on the day because the Stallone-ness of 2 versus like in terms like, did Creed 3 really need Rocky? I don't think it did. It kind of worked that they didn't have Rocky.
Yeah.
Because he already knew how to fight. He was already a vet. He was already a Hall of Famer.
But like Creed 2, like it is good that they play up the Drago stuff. That part of the story is really well, but Stallone being like, he's a big fighter. You can't fight this guy. He'll break you.
Jonathan Majors was the best part of Creed 3.
Yeah,
and
the best part of Quantumania, yeah.
But I think the thing is the best part of Creed 3 is when it like they were going to start fighting. Like the shit with the mom is so like there's a lot of shit going on in that movie and like it's either handled really silly or it takes too long. Like
it's a first time director's movie for sure. You can tell that. Because you can see his strengths in the origin story, like the story with him as kids, like you can tell like that's well handled and like he cared about that.
He ain't hollered nobody about like I don't want to say like pacing and structure, but like something like
when we talked about Creed 3 earlier this year, I'm like, this is definitely a movie that they probably cut 20 minutes out of.
Yeah,
Especially if you watch the trailer, there are scenes in the trailer that aren't in the movie at all.
Probably a bad 20 minutes.
Because remember, at that point, when you directing, you basically a coach. It's hard to be a coach player. Like,
but he wrote it too, right?
No, Ryan Coogler's brother and someone else wrote it. Yeah,
but it was his thought, his idea. Because like he kept saying
it's like story based with. I mean, story by Michael B. Jordan, maybe.
Yeah,
but it's written by Ryan.
He wasn't the producer, so
yeah,
you could tell.
He had his hand on it a lot, pause, but it's just trying to execute it as a first time director is hard. Like, think about this: when Denzel did The Great Debaters, how much of The Great Debaters do you go back to and be like, all right, everything was great about it, coming from Denzel, who has a
that's his second. Isn't that his second movie though?
Oh yeah, because Antoine Fisher.
I'd be like, you know what? Yeah. These debaters, not so great.
Okay.
And the story was good. But, all right.
I've never seen The Great Debaters, so
not so great. Not so great.
And then Antoine Fisher.
Yeah, all right.
It's a biopic, so it's just like, all right, that you could kind of
but he like the story was piece of Antoine Fisher. This was one of the last.
We talked about this
before I got kicked out. I got thrown off the ship. No, but
when you met him or Derek Luke?
Okay.
I spoke to Antoine Fisher over Zoom. I've never met Derek Luke in my life. Man, he had nothing but good things to say about Derek Luke, though.
What's Derek Luke? Oh, he's on that Disney Plus basketball show. That's what Derek Luke's doing these days.
Ain't no way he working still.
Yeah, he's like, there's some Disney Plus basketball show, and he's on it.
If you black and it's a basketball project, you could get some work.
Shout out to O'Shea Jackson as you talk.
O'Shea, a whole coach as well. Like, piece of Apple TV. Nah, but I mean, on the flip, I was going to ask, talking about ranking sequels. I mean, James Gunn came back, and I mean, grown men crying in the theater over some half-baked prototype ass raccoon monsters,
some robot chicken creatures,
robot chicken bullshit. Exactly. Where does Guardians 3 sit in that trilogy for y'all?
Number 1.
Word?
They got it. You just said it. They got us to cry about a raccoon origin story.
You ain't never know nothing about what this shit was called. Floor.
Yeah.
Teefs or whatever. Like, you didn't know nothing about these characters till 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they shot that motherfucker in the back of the head. Like,
that's good. That's good storytelling. Like, how do you get someone hooked in 2.5 hours? Because then it was a long movie. But
I went to the bathroom.
It had no filler. It was a great.
No, but I'm like, what do you cut out? We talked about this with the Batman.
No, I had to pee, and I was trying to, like, all right, when do I get to go? It was sometime before, like, they may have been getting ready for the final battle. I was like, you know what? I got to go right now, because if I go later, I'm gonna miss some wild shit.
I'll wait till I tell you my bathroom break in the middle of Fast X, because that's when I'll be like, that's when I'll be like, that's when you gotta cut the fuck. Give me the fucking mic.
Boy, I can tell you a couple times. I feel like no.
But no, like, again, like the story of like James Gunn, like the opposite of Michael B. Jordan, seasoned director, tenured director, but like has his very own unique style. You see it with Guardians, you see it with the Suicide Squad, like the blend of comedy, action, horror, and drama, family drama at the end of the day. Like it all, like, he smushes them all together in some way, and it all works out. It's hard to describe, which is why his Superman is going to be fascinating for a number of reasons. And you can tell in this movie that he's looking forward to making the Superman movie. The whole Adam Warlock bit about like how he flies and punches, like he's like into like what a Superman can do action wise. That's just a small piece of this movie.
I'm glad you said it that way, because I was thinking back about when me and my son were leaving the theater, and he said something about the Adam Warlock stuff that was dope too. And I'm like, really? But like, when you think about it, there's only so many words that were said.
Yeah,
he was only in 5-6 scenes of the film, something like that. But you got, I mean, for what was there, you got stuff with the mom. You know, you learn that he's a very strong dummy. Like you got to see, you even got a little arc with him at the end. You know, because I don't know if he's about to be a whole good guy, but I mean, it feels like that redemption could be starting whenever they plan on showing these characters next. Who's going to be even that's actually the only thing we could probably get to that at the end is not. I don't know if people. I'm afraid for what's going to happen to a character like Rocket Raccoon without a James Gunn pen. You know what I'm saying? Like,
even if they never make a Guardians movie, there will still be Guardians. Because the whole point of like Infinity War was like James Gunn wrote all the dialogue that involved the Guardians.
Right.
Like that was like the secret, script doctoring of that movie is that he came in and wrote all the Guardian scenes while
he knew
McFeely.
It was his voice. He understood how they worked. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be because I mean Rocket got a whole squad.
Yeah, and that's what was exciting. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing like, the redeemed team of the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Look at your man.
Like him at the helm and Kaiju Groot, fucking supersized Kaiju Groot. It was amazing because they're like Groot, Kaiju, and he just like
that shit was ill. And then he was standing on his back, fucking shooting.
Yeah.
I had literally like an hour after seeing the movie, I grabbed this piece.
Like they gave Groot all the guns. He was just like, I could, like
the way because I knew he was swiping pieces. He was too smart to not be swiping pieces that entire time.
Yeah,
when he was
him inside him, he was like putting him inside.
Yeah, like, when he said, "All right, we got to go," he said, he got a whole fucking device to open the shit. I'm like, yo,
because he was smarter than the scientists.
Well, all right,
yeah.
Is it just me?
He always yelling. I forgot his name.
That's what Cal's Letterboxd review said. Why was he yelling so much?
Well, not only why was he yelling so much, this is the second Marvel movie in a row where some purple black man is screaming and he's the bad guy.
And they dark skin.
Why are you trying to say, Cal?
Because the black man is purple and angry. That's why.
I mean, I've not worked this theory out at all. I've literally just made that notice. But I'm like,
no, you're right, because again, like what was so good about Kang was he was so quiet until the end when there was like, I'm losing control. Then like the rage comes out, but the High Evolutionary is like just mad scientist Frankenstein screaming. Like when he realized like the raccoon's smarter than him, he can't handle it. It's like how did you figure it out? Like he's like I made you. I should be smarter than you.
But not this shameless plug. It's no podcast I'm affiliated with, but I love them. They call it Double Toasted. They do all the movie reviews and stuff like that. I'll put you on, Cal. Hilarious. So they talked about the same thing. They said, why is this dude in every project always yelling? Because remember in Peacemaker, he was yelling.
But then the whole point of Peacemaker, he's an alien pretending to be a human. So like, yeah.
No, but remember he would get ticked off before he got the plug in his mind, pause, and he would like yell.
But he's dealing with John Cena, Peacemaker, who was just like,
but is
an asshole tool.
Is Marvel's answer to representation in all facets just having a screaming black purple tinged guy being the bad guy?
Well, the villain of the Marvels is it Zoe Ashton, Tom Hiddleston's wife, and she is black. I don't know if she's wearing purple in the Marvels, but
that's breaking news to me.
Most likely will be.
Oh, this is breaking news to me. Yeah, I didn't know any of that.
If the villain in Marvels has purple on, that's a trend.
Yeah.
Well, it's royalty. Purple is royalty, unlike the Lakers.
But for always with black though, did Odin have purple on?
OJ?
Purple? Odin.
Oh, okay.
Odin's not the villain.
No, but I'm just saying, Odin's a king, right? He was seen as a king.
Oh, well, he had
like red on.
Yeah.
It's only for black people. Purple's a black color in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
The Black Panther at the end, he has the purple.
Like I said, I've not worked this theory all the way out, but when I thought about the purple,
has the black and gold because he has,
but it was different, like that. But they all
don't give me that.
No, I'm saying because that matched the comic. In the comics, Kang was at least wore purple.
Yeah.
I don't remember the High Evolutionary. I'd have to go back in the comics and see.
He did have
Killmonger's was
purple.
black and gold though, because I think the Killmonger in the comics was black and gold. I think but was Shuri black and purple?
No, she was black and gold and white.
Because of him.
Yeah.
Got you. I don't remember what her
Michael B.
colors
Jordan
were.
hair, and
I don't remember
And she got
what
the
her
laser
colors
technology too.
were. She may not have purple in the comics either. Wow.
No.
But she's not the. But are you saying she's the villain of that movie, or are you just saying in terms of all the?
I'm just trying to see.
She kind of was behind the scenes.
A lot of people thought so. I'm behind the scenes. It's funny. I'm just trying to see if there's a correlation between black and purple in the Marvel Cinematic Universe or not. It's just interesting that two of the bad guys are black purple people who scream a lot.
It was a thing where like maybe they found a play that worked and were like, let's run it to the ground.
I don't know, man. It. I noticed it at the end of it was the one thing I he's the one thing that I wasn't the biggest fan of in that film. I think
really?
I mean it was I don't know what it was about him. Like I didn't
at some point it just like relaxed already. Like
I didn't fear him. Like like when I realized that he just made his whole plan was just to make another Earth and he failed at that too. Like what
yeah.
He's just you really are just I thought at some point it was going to be an incursion. I thought the incursions was coming back and that was how this movie was going to be tied to the other ones. But nah, he just made a second Earth. That stuff was kind of
idea. But see, that's what I mean. That's the idea that James Gunn is into, like the super niche, weird ideas, like the villain who makes another Earth, but instead of occupied by humans, it's grown animals. Animals are human bodies. Like that's very James Gunn-esque to be like, give me the weirdest shit that I'll actually be able to pull off.
It's a Marvel. Like I could see, just like Thanos destroying, half of the entire.
He was purple.
Universe.
See.
That's a white man.
And he looked black, but he wasn't black.
I think he was supposed to be black. I think that's like
I don't know. In the 4-issue Thanos miniseries that like told his origin story. I think it came out maybe like 7 years ago. I don't think the Titans are normally purple. He was like abnormal. So I don't remember if they were white.
Doug's friend,
Skeeter,
yeah.
Skeeter was green.
They were scared of.
So was he
Thanos.
Supposed to be black or
what? He was
exactly.
If Thanos is supposed to be black, he's a very smart black man. But the problem, maybe he was supposed to be black. The problem was
I think he was, but then
because he was
Brolin.
The
guy who did the first ever mocap was black
for Thanos.
Yeah, at the end of the Avengers, it's the guy who they brought him back for a small role in one of the movies or shows. I can't remember. Yeah,
I didn't realize that. Okay, that's dope.
And then remember Darth Vader, or James Earl Jones did the voice, man.
But that was a white man though, right?
Yeah, inside.
Yeah, but he was the voice though.
But when he took his helmet off, he was a white man.
But do they think about the suit or do they think about the voice?
You're right. But the problem is now if they were making a movie tomorrow with what's his name, Kylo Ren. If Kylo Ren was to start another Star Wars movie, they'd be thinking about the helmet. You wouldn't hear it'd be like or whatever. Like, but they would have the helmet with the fucking.
That's why his voice is like this.
He kind of sounded like.
What black man sound like that?
I mean, Bill O'Reilly. I don't know.
What would Groot be again? Because Groot's voiced by Vin Diesel. So what is Groot supposed to be?
Family. That's what he's supposed to be.
Family.
All right. So again, Vin Diesel kicks off the summer with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and then Fast X, which we'll get to. But
yeah.
Which of the Groots is your favorite? Old wizened Groot from the first one, who's like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, like he's grizzled, he's got height. He's seen some shit, he's done some shit, but he's supposed to be wise. And we got Baby Groot in Volume 2, who's like just like a little brat who like gets angry and can fuck up everything. Then we have Teenage Groot, who again is Cal. You have a teenage son, so you know what it's like to be with
an
adolescent
right now,
in terms of like the and then we have like what probably sophomore in a frat group who's just like, I'm swole, bruh. Like, come at me, bruh. Like,
creatine group.
Because he out there dancing like the Jersey Shore, like,
That
like
shit was weird.
he was stomping his feet and shit. Like,
I'm gonna choose Teen Groot only because Teen Groot talked the most shit, but Teen Groot also like got a pretty dope arc. Like Teen Groot went from talking shit and not wanting to be around to like, yo, I gotta pick up this fucking molten hot ass shit because if not, then Thor can't do the damn thing. And Teen Groot understood what the situation was in that moment, and Baby Groot was almost still blowing up the fucking world towards the end of that movie. Yeah, my vote's Teen Groot.
What about you, Banks?
I like the adult group or the sophomore that y'all talking about.
I like new group
because he already got the voice, and then you know what I mean. Then he's, like you said, he come back and he just like a Power Ranger Zoid at that point.
Yeah,
and then when he finally learned English and he said, "I love you guys," you know what I mean.
Is that what that was? He been studying English
the whole time.
Remember the whole time?
Maybe he already knew.
Remember, Gamora's like, "How do you understand what he's saying, or do you just make up stuff for him?" And it's like, no, he does understand, and they understand.
Oh, that was real.
I think that's supposed to be like, yeah, they can understand what he says.
I honestly, I always assumed that they knew what he was saying, but I didn't pick up on if he was actually like.
See, that's where like one of the good parts of Solo was when they throw Han into the pit and they introduce Chewbacca, and then like Han goes, it's like, yeah, I know a little bit, okay, but like, so it's like, oh, so for years, like he does actually know what Chewbacca's saying when he goes back at him. That's like, shut up, furball. It's like, oh, he does know how to speak their language, and I guess Chewbacca does too.
Well, you gotta remember, we saw this movie. We saw an hour and 45 minutes that was probably a week in the movie time or whatever.
Yeah.
We didn't get to see all the times where like Chewbacca's like, I gotta piss, and he's like, all right, go use the bathroom, Chewie, or whatever. Like, you know, there's probably a lot of
he pisses right there. He pisses right there in the cockpit, and Tom's like, God, Christ. Not again! God damn it! Like,
ew, I hope you don't shit up there.
No,
I like New Groot too because he grows fucking wings too. Like when like, let's free dive from the building, Groot's just like go gadget tree wings. Like they had some good ideas in this one. Whatever James Gunn, whatever he had left in the idea vault, he just threw into this movie. The whole No Sleep Till Brooklyn fight scene where he's like, I'm going to have the most impressive winner besides John Wick 4 this year.
That shit was hard. I wasn't ready for that.
Yeah. I'm like, that's a real, like, what's the best winner this year? John Wick 4, when he's in the house shooting the fucking fire shotgun as like the crane camera goes from one room to the next.
I need to watch a quality version of John Wick 4 because I don't remember.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I got to go back and watch.
Because it's like, again, it's almost just as long too, and it's never close up. It's all like, it's almost just like a video game, an old fashioned video game, or like Pokemon, where you see yourself walking, do from the aerial view.
It was I excused the corniness. Like once I realized, each one it's gonna flow from this one to that one, and they're gonna do it. Like I was like, but it was the way that they did it, and they weaved in and out of the different situations was really dope. James Gunn, who's somebody who I was not as invested in before, like this, not I'm gonna say before Suicide Squad, before Guardians, really. Like I maybe seen something of his, but I wasn't like the biggest James Gunn fan. But I think from Guardians 1 to Guardians 3, like I could tell that he probably learned some shit from doing Suicide Squad and was able to. There were probably things that he was incorporating. Like I feel like he's someone that definitely grows as a director, and because we're seeing him put stuff up there on a regular basis, you're able to see the progression from. I got to rewatch 1. I feel like I haven't seen that movie in forever, but I need to see where he went from and how he ended up, because it's a totally like larger epic scale thing than what I remember the first one being at all.
Yeah, I've seen the first one too many times.
I haven't watched it in years.
I haven't watched it in a little bit, but one, to me, when I saw it right after the theater, I'm like, that's what Star Wars is, like that. And he had just said that a few weeks ago when 3 was released. He's like, when I took on this project, I wanted to make something as close to Star Wars as I can.
Well, that's
And-
when he was holding the fucking power, the purple stone.
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
And with Glenn
And the
Close.
And the
thing
first
is,
Guardians,
Guardians
what-
3 is a lot
yeah.
of practical effects too.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
And you
I
can
saw
tell, yeah.
well, I saw on Instagram they showed the dummy, the Star-Lord dummy that Nebula was carrying. They said it only weighed like 20 pounds or something like that, but it looked they had it to the point where you could make it breathe.
Mhm.
Yeah, that freaked me out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, it freaked Chris Pratt out. He was looking at him because the face looked just like him, like he was sleeping.
What
He
do
was
you think
carrying
of
himself.
that, Banks? What do you think of a movie opening up to the song "Creep" and white people's fascination with the song "Creep"?
I love
I'm
that
a
song.
weird.
I love that song. It wasn't the right version though.
It was
No,
the
no,
acoustic
no.
version.
Yeah.
They should. I was what? But I also don't. I've not listened to that song in forever. I know white people probably listen to that song, and anytime the Joker's on,
You know, they
just play
wake
it.
up to that song.
Wait on that, Cal. Wait on that. No, like it opens up with "Creep," and I'm just like, wow, James Gunn is like really going for it, and that's the best use of a song, because when Black Widow opened up with the worst cover of Nirvana, I was just like,
Bro.
cut my eyes out, please. Like, I don't want to cut it out. Like, it was horrendous, but I
Courtney
instantly
Love
thought
ain't
of the
seeing heaven, bro.
oh god, I instantly thought of
Jesus
the Patrice O'Neill bit, and he was right. White people love creep. We're like, I'm not a weirdo, but I'm a creep. Like,
Yeah, I'm a creep. I
um,
don't belong here.
yeah, and it, like say you get this whole origin story for Rocket the Raccoon, or what, P-113 as he called him, or P-13, yeah, because he like called him by his number. I'm like, this is getting very problematic.
Very racial.
Yeah.
Yeah, no facts. And he treated him like the black man treated the raccoon like a little slave too.
So that was Jason Whitlock the whole time.
But it was like with his like baby voice. I'm like, did Bradley Cooper still do the dialogue, and they just like alternated it to like a baby voice? Because again, they still get the Diesel.
Noah Raskin voice Baby Rocket. Who's Noah Raskin?
Okay. Bradley Cooper had
Bradley Cooper. He did Adolescent Rocket though,
but he had the easiest check this time. He just showed up for an
I
hour.
feel like he had the most dialogue out of everybody in this movie, besides Star-Lord.
Yeah, but even still, he knocked that out in what, 4 days, 2 days?
If that. You can tell when he's at the fucking red carpet and they're asking about the movie. He's like, yeah, I just saw it a few weeks ago. Because you didn't work on the fucking thing.
Yeah, he probably recorded this shit first and then just mailed the fucking tapes in. Like, I can't find. I was trying to find the. It wasn't on Wikipedia. What is Rocket?
I teared up when he said, when the baby raccoon said, "I hurt." That's the first words he said.
Oh yeah, hurt.
Yeah.
Fuck says Sky. Oh shit.
And then he's like,
they got me.
No, it was again every time. Like when like he's basically in limbo because like they can't fix him in time, and like he goes and sees ghost friends, and they're like, it's like you'll stay with us, but not this time. And I'm like,
yeah, no, that messed me up. That's the thing that got me. I can't lie to y'all.
He's like, because you're a raccoon. He's like, I'm not a raccoon. He's like,
yeah, that was fucked up. But
it was basically just, I always bring this up. It's that scene in Creed where he's knocked out, and then like he gets the flashes of his mom, his girl Rocky, and then he sees footage of Apollo, and he goes and pops back up, and I'm just like,
and then he went whole face ripper monkey on my. It took my son didn't realize it for a bit. I was like, no, yeah, that's what he did. He saw when he was scratching. Nah, he face off.
Yeah.
No Nick Cage.
Oh. Yeah, this is a better version of that movie.
But
by the way, raccoons can really do that to you.
Facts.
They'll tear you up, boy.
Or trash pandas, as they called them in the second one.
Trash pandas, yeah.
Especially the ones that got rabies, boy. You better run.
Shoot them off. Doom.
But no, I thought everyone had a perfect arc. Nebula was phenomenal, and her Winter Soldier arm was great. Like the way she used that.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably Dave Bautista's best performance ever in anything, and he's had a number of performances that have been great. But
when I tell you,
go ahead.
They dealing with these kids for like 30 minutes. He just went up to him and starts talking and doing the fucking breakdancing and shit. And then he gets to hitting that Simlish with it. Like, oh yeah, bet. So you go over there, you go over there. Like, bitch, you over there eating fucking Malamars. You could have been talking to these kids. Anyway.
You gotta remember too, he a grandfather. Yes, Dave Bautista is a grandfather, which is, again, this dude. It's crazy to think we was watching him as the Animal 20 years ago, and look where he is now. Like life is fun.
I always say this man went from saying he was gonna kick the devil's ass to being like the funniest, person with like the biggest dramatic arc of the series. Like, to me, my favorite scene is when they're trying to enter the weird, fucked up, fleshy planet, and like he pushes the comms to just talk to Gamora, and they're like, we can all hear you. He's like, I push this button. Man, the weird color code. It's just like green is yellow, orange is blue, and purple is purple. Like, and they're like, how do you know? Watch. Hello.
And those effects were great too, with like the goo and all that. That's all I'm like, dude. This is some imagination this man has.
Nah, hell yeah.
The whole,
I thought the creator Rick and Morty made it, but he would have had boxing gloves in there.
Nathan affiliated me like I got to deal with these idiots, so I know what it's like being in their shoes. He's like,
oh, that was him. I kept thinking like, was that him the whole time? And I was like, yeah, that is him.
I like the stuff with what you call it, Cosmo.
That's what. Yeah, that's stuff was in 1969 Russian spaceship. They send me to the moon, and
I thought that shit was cool.
Bad dog.
But yet he calls me bad dog. He's like, oh my god, here he goes. Like, I'm not going to take it back. Nope.
But I mean, I don't know if my man could solve the future, because I mean, it all made sense when they fucking said use a good dog or whatever. But I don't know. I like that. I like being able to see fucking Howard the Duck playing cards and shit. But again, it just made me feel bad, because I'm like, there's so much. I'll get to the thing I didn't like the most in a bit, but there's so much with these characters that you were given over 3 movies, and I have a feeling we're going to visit Nowhere at some point. Yeah. We're going to see Rocket's Guardians at some point, but the hope is that they just don't feel too different. But the one thing that I wish happened was that they were not able to get Star-Lord. I wanted to see Groot reach those hands, those tree limbs out, and be too late. Maybe grab the Zune or whatever the fuck the MP3 device is, and just leave your man's the bloat. And
you wanted a death cow. You're thirsty.
They teased it. I mean, he was basically dead.
We kind of we got 2 of them actually.
But now
Rocket and then that.
Rocket and Drax is like shot up, like he shot from the back and in the front when they're on the flesh planet. Like, there's a whole lot of
there were a couple. What's the name? Gamora, not Gamora.
Nebula.
What's the one with the
Mantis?
Mantis. She landed on her neck at one point. I'm like, yo, they were surviving some really crazy.
Well, when Adam Warlock shows up, he just like breaks her arm easily. Then all they had to do is just put those med packs on her, like, med packs. And I'm like, holy shit, that's amazing. Like
when they put the med pack on Rocket, and he started fucking. So what the? I said, y'all about to kill Rocket early. Get the shit off him. But when they had the one mid-credit stinger. And it's fucking Star-Lord eating cereal, talking about the dude mowing the lawn. I'm like, we about to get a whole Disney Plus series of this shit or something. Like, I got no buys from me. I thought I was done with Star-Lord. I'm just saying, buys. Like, I've been over Chris Pratt, and they redeemed him.
But he's great in this movie.
Exactly. Everybody was over Chris Pratt. James Gunn is such a good writer that he
Mamma
made
mia,
he
was
made he made Star-Lord so believable as like this compassionate ass ally all of a sudden who's trying to creep on this one woman because she looked like somebody that he used to know, and he want her to be like that.
That simp stuff, that was the worst part of the movie.
That's a different chick, bro.
No, I liked it.
No, he got to let it go, bro. You can't justify this.
It's Space Zoe Saldana. I understand
the sensitive lover boy over here loved that part. Yeah,
I loved it because again,
surprised.
it's like he tells her that's someone who is a simp in a sense of lover boy. Like when he says like you might not remember, but like again, we had some like we were good together. She's like, I bet we had some fun. He's like, lots of it. And I'm like, God damn it.
You in a galaxy full of billions of different type of women or whatever.
That's the thing. He was already Captain Kirk fucking this woman of this species on this galaxy. Now he wants the one.
Back.
Or this ain't the one, bro.
It's literally not the one. You already had that.
How's she the only one get to jump? Well, that's the whole space-time continuum thing. How's she the only one get to make it through?
Yeah, how about that?
Black Widow.
What's about her?
Could. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Remember her. That's past Gamora.
See, but that's what I'm saying. It's the whole. I go by the Back to the Future aspect. And
if you kill your whole family, you dead too.
Well, they already said that doesn't exist in their role because how does Steve Rogers go back to live with Peggy, but his actions in the present aren't changed? So it's like he got to live his life and then goes back and is able to live another. But again, like does that
travel stupid?
Well, it is. How many times on BBD did we say time travel is the stupidest idea? Is that stupidest idea? That
unless it's from Back to the Future, because that makes sense.
No, because they came up with going back to the West because they just wanted to make a Western. Like, come on.
Well, I barely remember the third one.
Yeah, I don't like the third one as much.
Yeah, I've seen the first and second one countless times.
And even the second one after a certain part, because they keep jumping in time. Like, all right, I'm good.
Yeah, when they go to Biff's alternate world, that's where I'm like, all right, let's end this already.
That's usually when I turn.
Because then they just replay the first one, and I'm like, what?
That was supposed to be in the Valley in California. No, bro, y'all was in Detroit when he was running stuff big. Because remember, they went through the window with Michael Jackson Thriller poster up there and all that.
Yeah.
What do you think?
The Black family.
Shouts out to East
Earth 2. What do you think that town's supposed to be? Again, it's a little bit like, is it Cleveland? Is it?
No, it's Detroit.
It looked hella like 1950s suburbs America. It could have been Detroit. It could have been.
If you watch Barbarian, it looks
that was like work in 1992. Yeah. That's what that was.
It could have been. It could have been any random suburb in a big American city. They
what's he say? You got rabbits selling meth to octopuses or whatever. Like
they didn't have no guns there.
Nice.
It was some real Demolition Man shit.
It might have been Brownsville.
But they have one guy getting robbed, one creature getting robbed when they drive a car. And
well,
this was a silly part when he says open the fucking door. Like,
they were high as shit out there too, though. They was there because those were all dope fiends.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it might have been Brownsville.
How he didn't get that sword? You smart as shit. You got a smart ass raccoon. You couldn't figure out how to not make dope fiends.
No,
or dope. Like how you get dope?
His thing.
Everybody gonna get dope.
Yeah, his thing was to create and observe. He didn't care what they were doing down there. He just wanted to see if they were self-sufficient.
But he still wanted perfection, though. Like at a certain point,
well, like he says that, like when he's like, "I want to destroy this planet anyway." It hasn't worked out to what I believe. Like that's just like probably the number one test case because when the whole like Juke little girls, he's like, "These will power our planet."
Juke. I don't remember their name, but I knew he was talking.
No, they don't have any names.
It was just funny because I knew exactly.
It doesn't make any sense that the one at the end that's part of the new team has like a glowing eye. Like, did they differentiate one from the other? Because she has like superpowers for whatever reason.
She Annie.
Because the new squad again, it's her, it's Kraglin, it's Adam Warlock, it's Groot and Rocket. Like, oh, and Cosmo, yeah. So like,
and Cosmo, yeah.
That's a nice.
So I'm like, what? I'm like, what's this little girl going to contribute? I'm like, is she ever going to grow up, or do they stay that age? Is that the like? Are they Yoda people almost? Like,
maybe she's that age. Maybe that's it. Maybe she's forever.
Essentially, the Golden State Warriors this year. Golden State Warriors. You got 2 Hall of Famers on there, probably 3, And then you got a bunch of young people that's probably like, all right, we'll see.
Who's Jordan Poole? Adam Warlock? Probably, yeah.
And
No, the girl with the eye.
Shorty with the eye. A bunch of people can't get you past what is the second round?
Yeah.
Damn.
We'll see. They were taking on those like weird space creatures at the end when those people were scared for their town.
I didn't check. Did the Lakers win?
No.
Last night, no, they lost. Yeah.
So they got one more game.
One more chance.
Yeah, and they probably gonna call it. That's gonna be the go home game.
But yeah, that's the LeBron. My elbow's kind of hurting, guys.
If you subscribe, if you're only watching this on YouTube, this conversation is old. But if you're on the Patreon, you could have got this conversation when it was real. Patreon.com/Black Wrestling. Pay the $1 or pay the $10 to get all types of content.
No, pay the $10.
Yeah, if you want to pay the 10, pay the 10. You can get.
I know it's inflation, but pay
for $1, you at least getting 3 shows a week.
Right. Me and Cal got a video game show coming out.
You
said that last time you're here, and that's what
I'm saying. I think and then you start talking about Doom. I think we
wait. If you're not subscribed to the Patreon, you missed the whole Doom conversation. But what's the video game show?
I came up with the name, but I forgot it. Remember?
But
we'd have to watch that off light. Yeah.
Yeah, off air.
We'll
come up with something. I always come up with good ideas. For the most part. When my brain is working, I come up with ideas. I might be Star-Lord.
So whose idea was it to
yours?
I
give people credit for all the ideas. I don't care.
No, I was gonna say because I think we're done with that conversation. Whose idea was it to
oh Jesus
care about a Fast X? Because
go ahead, Skip.
Every trailer I watched for that film looked like hot garbage. And
it wasn't until this week that I realized Jason Momoa was playing Seth Rollins.
That's funny.
Oh, you mean the Joker?
That's funny.
No, legit. So I'm like, on like Tuesday or what? It must have been Tuesday. I think it was like when NXT was on. They show like a Fast X trailer. I'm like, oh shit. Because like they show the clip in the trailer where Jason Momoa is punched by Vin Diesel and he laughs one time after being punched. And I'm like, and the way he's dressed, like he's feminine, but then masculine. I'm like, oh shit. He has the blonde streaks at the end of his hair. I'm like, oh shit. Vin Diesel.
Part of that's his thing too, though, right? Like
but I'm like, but everything else, I'm like, they cast Jason Momoa in Vin Diesel's mind. You cast Jason Momoa as some tough guy you can beat up, but you don't make Jason Momoa this over the top Joker type villain like he's playing in the movie, unless you're inspired by something. Because Jason Momoa is playing Heath Ledger's Joker, what I assume Joaquin Phoenix's Joker is like, because I haven't seen the movie, and Seth Rollins,
more so Heath Ledger
and Joker. Seth Rollins all in this movie, because there are parts of this movie where Jason Momoa's Dante character is just like, how do you choose? Which is just like Heath Ledger's like, she's at this place and he's over there, like, and that's what happens 4 different times in this movie where Jason Momoa is just like, you choose the life to save and the other suffers, blah blah blah, with his, so already that's how I knew like the movie was going downhill.
Jeez,
that made you realize.
No, I'm saying like, because at the start when he shows up, there's so many problems, as we talked about.
Not the Mission to Rome. I'm gonna cut you off a couple times on here because now we're charged up. This is why we hear people. Not that Mission to Rome that Roman found out.
Okay, you want to do Tyrese? All right. Again, this is spoilers for Fast X, Cal. I know.
Yeah, I was gonna say, spoiler alert always. As long as this is up here, if you ain't seen the film, you are gonna get spoiled. So either watch the film and then come back, or
I promise y'all be seeing it on HBO Max Max Discovery.
Yeah, by the time this airs for some people, will just be Max.
This is going straight to streaming services within 2 weeks because they done The Little Mermaid and Spider-Verse.
That's Peacock then, right? It would be Peacock.
I don't know.
They're gonna be on Tubi.
Their deal's weird.
Yeah, because they in the past a lot of the Fast and Furious movies have gone to Warner Discovery's service at the time, whether it be HBO Go, HBO Max, now Max.
Yeah.
So they must have like a first look deal where they get that, unless Universal is, rework that deal to strengthen their own service. Because Nope, Jurassic World Dominion, a lot of their biggest features went to Peacock months after the movie was in theaters. So I think it's up in the air in terms of where its streaming will be. But this movie, streaming. But this movie ends, Cal, in which a plane carrying Natalie Emanuel, Sung Kang, Ludacris, and Tyrese Gibson is blown up
into the Hoover Dam.
Well, no, because it's in Portugal, so it's
It looked like the Hoover Dam.
Yeah, that's the point. Like,
and you going from. You're not even going to the worst part of this.
No, I'm saying here's how it is the worst part, because that plane blows up. They don't show the wreckage
to that Pontiac or whatever car that is going down the dam while being on fire, and he hits the Nas in order to hit the ocean.
Yeah. That's still not the worst part, because they don't show that plane blowing up or like the wreck. So like they survive this plane crash, obviously, is like the wink wink, because this movie ends on a real cliffhanger as like the dam is supposed to blow up after Banks just said this Dodge Charger drives down it with fucking Michael Bay fire behind it and the sun's in the car.
Have you ever seen, because I know you probably haven't been on the ride, have you ever seen like the fast ride at Universal Studios, like the clips of it or whatever?
No.
It looks exactly like that as far as the graphics when he did that, like hang on to your seatbelts, like that type of thing. Like the Transformers ride. That's what it looks like.
Do it look like this? Does it look like this?
It have the dam ready to blow up. It's rigged with explosives. Because again, Jason Momoa is playing the joke like I'm 4 steps ahead by whatever means. Like how do you know this bus is gonna turn at the right time and join all these other buses? Wouldn't the bus behind you be like, why did that bus come out of the bank? Like,
right.
And the two buses are about to collide with the Dodge. And it's like, all right, cool. They self-control, which is they Tesla trucks, I guess.
Yeah, it's like the whole thing. And again, it's like, oh, you're picking apart some of that story stupid. Like, no, when it reaches a limit of too much, that's this movie of like, you've lost it, because this movie ends on a legit cliffhanger of like the dam's gonna blow. Vin Diesel looks at his son, and then boom, the credits. It's a legit like to be continued ending. They don't show if the team's alive, but they most likely will be. But I hope to God Roman Pierce is dead. Fast 9 and Fast X, he has been the worst part of the film.
That's a lie. Because he actually started making sense. Remember what I said about 9 when we
That's why I told you we can't have the movie in which the character acknowledges how did we survive this, and that. And then that man then goes to space. You can't do that. You can't have the person break the fourth wall, but then be the person who like is trying to patch up the fourth wall as well.
Again,
because that's what he was doing.
My favorite show, I'll just say this, shameless plug again, even though I'm not affiliated. They said they gave 2 Negroes some gas money and they went to space in a Honda.
No, it was a Fiero, remember, or whatever. Like
he said, it's still funny. He said they gave him some gas money. They got to space.
Jesus, they really were in space.
But Cal, John Cena dies in this movie. Cal,
for real?
Yeah, I don't know how unless he walks out of this fire like he's 2006 Kane. No.
I think it's gonna happen.
It will, because everyone survives.
Heel turn.
Gal Gadot showed up in this movie, and we heard that news a while back. Remember when they were like, Gal
on the
Gadot.
Submarine? You didn't say. You got to say on the submarine. She met up with Michelle Rodriguez and the shorty.
And South Africa's own Charlize Theron. Yeah,
Yeah, from Mad Max.
Does this stuff? Because like. So hearing this stuff without seeing the film, which I don't care, none of this sounds like it makes any sense. Like people just showing up.
It does. Yeah.
Like Antarctica looks like Orlando. It doesn't matter.
No, it's Antarctica because the title cards come up and say Antarctica.
There you go. So she shows up in a submarine being Gal Gadot, and she do that stupid smirk that she always do. And then it's just them in the middle of the ocean or whatever, frozen ocean with jackets. All right. It ain't jackets big enough for that. You gonna freeze to death, and they just looking like, all right, we out here because the experiment went bad. They was about to have a face-off moment, but I guess the experiment went bad.
It was all of that was dumber than this.
Yes,
it's not that it's dumb. It's just like they know they have to go over the top, and Chris McQuarrie and Tom Cruise say this. Chris McQuarrie in particular, like when because again, the Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 trailer dropped this week. That's phenomenal, and it's like. It seems like they might be kind of doing the Indiana Jones style of Destiny thing. Like it seems like there might be a flashback of like Tom Cruise from the night, like Ethan Hunt 90s era. That's not like that mission is now rearing its head in the modern day. But Chris McQuarrie has always said, like, I'm lucky to have Tom Cruise, who is someone willing to actually do these stunts, because it's hard to compete with the Fast and the Furiouses, the James Bonds, the Marvel movies of the world in terms of action sequences and set pieces. But as I said with Fast 9, and especially with this one, like, it's all very mediocre at this point. They can't top what they've already done. And like the biggest set piece is, I mean, it's cool that he like drives down the stairs backwards in Rome to like chase this rolling bomb. But it's like there's nothing special about it. I mean, even the John Cena stuff, like the cannon car is kind of cool, but then like it only works 3 times, and they just have like, you can tell this was a movie that someone was brought on to direct after another director left the project, because it's so mismatched together with past footage, new footage, old, like what was the original script idea versus what he had input on, because Louis Leterrier has done the press run saying, I had a lot of input since I joined, because it's like, as a director, you want to just provide your own input, compared to what happened with Solo, in which Ron Howard shot the script that was supposed to be shot because Lord and Miller went off it. This is just like, why are you bringing in this person? Like Helen Mirren's there, but she was already there before. But like Jason Statham is there, but he might as well not even be there because he doesn't come back.
Right, and he was there for a second.
Yeah. And it's like he kicks Han's ass just to be like, he's mad at Han when he's the man trying to who killed Han. Like, what's the issue there? I was like, why are you mad at me for? Like, that's what that scene is when Han's like, I'm not here to do anything. It's like, oh, like, I got an issue for men like you. It's like, bro, you killed me. I'm still alive. Like,
quote unquote. And then Scott Eastwood just goes through the front door of this
my
house
boy
blown
Scotty
up.
Eastwood comes back, and I'm like, yes. And then they tease that they're gonna. That was the only time in the movie I'm like, I swear to God, don't do this shit. I swear to God, he gets out that car just in time, and then is never back in the movie. And I'm like, huh? Like
dog. In the beginning, the house was the focal point. This is the home base, as we know, since the beginning of this franchise. But I feel like this house has went through hell in the entire movie. Scott Eastwood was like, I ain't tell y'all about no mission. And then cut to them in Rome with Roman and his team. And why did they, hold on, we about to get real racial. Why did they put all the blacks together in the mission, the setup? And then the whole time it's just Rome and then Ludacris character. I keep forgetting Tez. They just have heat throughout the whole movie.
That's where I'm like, and there were those reports. There was supposed to be some plot twist in terms of like one of the members of the family might betray the other, but really it's fucking. I hate that it had to be Thad Castle who's the villain the whole time, because I'm like, oh, we have a replacement for The Rock now.
And it's like, how can he do the heel turn when he was only in probably like 3 scenes prior to him doing the heel turn?
Well, they make it, yeah, they try to implement like he's new Hobbs. Like, I show up, I take guys down, blah blah blah. You know, like
he did that for like 1 scene.
Yeah, because then like when Dom helps him, he's like, I owe you, Dom. Let me give you a flight to fucking Portugal, and then he shoots down the plane carrying the family, and he's like, that's the thing about too much. And he's good in this movie. Don't get me wrong. Alan Ritchson is a good actor, and he I would like to see if him and Momoa like do like this 2-man power trip for the next one. I'm for that a little bit.
Well, we need the writers from Blue Mountain State. That's what we need, and the directors.
Mojitos! Just him going like
it'll be the greatest frat brother movie of all time.
But yeah, when he shoots down the plane, and it's like they play the connecting this to Fast 5 was the worst thing they could have done, because here's when I went to the bathroom. So right as Vin Diesel's in the apartment that Elena lived in, and Daniela Marancourt, Pressure, as you know, as we refer to her, when she's like,
oh yeah, I would have tried to save her too.
When she's like,
bomb ain't blowing her up.
when, you know, I knew you cared for my sister. I'm like, oh, I knew it. Everyone's got to be related to somebody. Like that's when I
movie off on that.
I got up, went to the bathroom. I'm like, I'll be back. I get back, and then Pete Davidson's in the movie, and I'm like, no. I wanted to walk out of the theater right then and there. I'm like, why is Pete Davidson here?
And I knew he was gonna be somehow I owe you one type guy. Like I owe this favor to this person. And then that's when Tez and Roman got into a fight inside the store.
They have the worst fight scene. Like Brian and Rome had the most homoerotic but funniest bro fight of all time when they fight in the desert when they're like, bro, you fight like shit.
But that's what they said on Double Toasted.
Yeah.
Reference. They said
No, I know. I know. That's when you sent me that, I didn't watch it because I'm like, yeah, I know this is a very like homoerotic subtextual movie. Because again, like when Roman takes off his shirt to punch the glass, that's how like, what's going on? And he's like, don't ruin your blouse. It's like, y'all been fucking, huh? Like, so, but when Roman and Tej have their fight, it's just like
kind of the same thing.
No, it's not even homoerotic. It's just like, is Roman Pierce going to be a bad guy or is Tej going to be a bad guy? Because it's like, what's all this beef? And then he has to give him the motivational speech where he's like, you are a good leader, blah, blah, blah. It's like, they did that 2 movies ago of him trying to be like, I'm alpha, lead alpha, blah, blah. That's from like, just kill Tyrese.
Wait, but the thing is with me, how you call him a good leader when he drove y'all to space? He was behind the wheel because you can't drive. So how is he now a good leader?
It's just infuriating. I had said this in my letterbox. I'm like, I'm not, when people are like, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. I am mad. I am disappointed. This is like this movie.
But we knew what it was going to be. Me and you kept saying like, I don't know.
Well, when Justin Lin was on set, when he's like, on here with director Justin Lin, welcome to the set. And he's just like, yeah,
the Magic
good to
Johnson.
be back. Good to be back. And then 2 days later, they put that press release. After we had recorded, I'm like, he's not having a good time making this movie. They put out the press release saying he's leaving, and I'm like, who is your god? And now, and then you bring in Louis Leterrier, who is, again, like the Antoine Fuquas, like the Len Wisemans of the world, very C-level action director.
Yeah.
Too many bad cuts in terms like it, like nothing maintains. The John Cena fight scene in the house is okay. Again, he FUs a guy through the floor, but the rest of it is just
and they love kicking down this door, bro. The home base door is just like unstoppable. It's like Uncle.
The kid was the worst part of the movie as well. Protecting this kid, the kid driving at 8 years old.
He was the best part.
No, because
compared to Dom and Letty was the worst part, especially Letty. Michelle Rodriguez is like, dog, I just want to be done.
Oh, yeah, she wants to, again, like she was just in Dungeons and Dragons and looks like she had a better time making that than this.
Oh yeah, that movie, she was turned up in that movie.
That's why they have the scene in the bedroom where like they're about to have sex, and I'm like, this is like, there's no chemistry here. You had chemistry back in the day, like it almost seemed like a shoot back in the day, like how he was in her.
Guardians 3. Remember that the fun times we had? I bet we were fun. There you go.
Yeah, basically.
She's had CTE for 3 movies now.
That's what I hate the most is that they have photos of all these key moments. I'm like, what cameras around? Who's recording these moments in your lives? Like, who's recording your secret wedding in the DR?
And then Paulo like, Mom. And then she just gave a look like she's supposed to care, but she didn't. She was just like,
again, they still no mention of Brian except that means like I gotta go to Brian and the kids. It's like I remember I joked last time that like they just got to make Brian Spy Hunter, like he just lives in the car and like it's just a Nissan Skyline that's always around. They didn't
explain that. Huh? I just thought about that. They didn't even explain that. The Skyline pulled up the last movie and then it's just like hooray.
Yeah, but he's not there for this barbecue with Grandmother Toretto. Yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like, don't. It's that thing like they. Fade the Furious worked. I know you don't like it. It worked because it played the last card they had to play, which was like Dom Toretto heel turn. Like, oh, that was smart. Yeah. Like, what if they had to fight Dom? Like, and it worked based off like the behind the scenes heat of Dwayne Johnson thinks this is his franchise now, and he wants to be the star of it. We'll get to that piece of shit in a second.
I can't wait.
Don't get me started because that news broke before the movie came out, and I'm like, I'm not. What did Nate Diaz say? I'm not surprised, motherfucker. Like,
well, he also said the N-word too. So,
but that was the last card they had to play because then Hobbs and Shaw's like, oh, based off Dwayne Johnson's momentum, they think they can spin this off because they talked about the female-led movie that
Which we gonna get in the next one.
Now they will, because they got Charlize Theron is now going to be part of the team. She's going to make that face turn, basically. They're going to forgive the woman that murdered his child, and they play those scenes. Like, give me a reason why I shouldn't kill you right now. And she's like,
what do you say when she catches the whole time I've been trying to kill you, and now I could. Like, everybody keeps.
Don't you want to?
Like, dude, it felt
don't
like
you want to hear my last words? What were Elena's last words when he does his 0 to 60 acting? Like, you know, because he did the what were her last words and hits the house. Like,
it was like, dude, you 3 movies behind. All right, you could have cut this promo a while ago.
That's what was so bad about F9 when they show up with a mission. She's like, I'm retired. And then Roman has to be like, but Dom, like basic exposition in any TV show, like, but Dom, this is Cypher, the woman who killed the mother of your child. And Vin Diesel's just like, I can't do it. Like, come on now. Like,
dude,
I know this is stupid for us to vote big. And when we did Fast Summer, we broke down why these movies were so good. Hobbs and Shaw does have some amazing moments in it, but it's not a Fast and the Furious movie.
It's still the last best one besides 7.
No, the franchise peaked with 5, 6, and 7. That trilogy of Dwayne Johnson being their enemy, teaming with them, and then the Jason Statham element of the post, like that was one of the best. I said it during Fast and like that's one of the best post-credit scenes of all time was Jason Statham being the man that killed Han. I'm like, fuck, that's amazing. And it's like he's gonna be the brother of Owen Shaw. It's like, oh shit. But at some point, again, everyone has to turn face, and that's what Jason always says. Like, you thought like everyone, because it's worked so many times that, you know, whoever links up with you is always gonna be your family, which is the whole point of Alan Richardson. Like, you think Alan Richardson will be White Hobbs, so be the new Hobbs, basically. But it's like, nope, I'm partnering with the villain, and that was the plan 10 years ago in Rio when when the agency, like, we didn't know the agency existed. And they keep mentoring Kurt Russell, and he doesn't show up, but Brie Larson shows up, and Brie Larson, who's not a bad actress, is just horrible in this movie. Like,
yeah, and she wasn't really even needed. But the thing is, he cut that promo about everybody, you know, joining your team. They low-key got 2-3 additional members.
Yeah, they got
Pressure. They got Brie Larson, and then they got his baby mom's killer. Now she on the team. It's like, what? And then now they got back, you know what I mean? They got The Rock back as well. So that's 4 people.
All right, so with this, the post-credit scene for this, it's a SWAT team going into like this abandoned theater. And I'm like, I know what this is going to be because I've seen the news the past couple of days, but and like a cell phone answers and he's like, lawman, sheriff, like
just
Dom
like
Toretto,
the Joker with the cell phone.
Yeah, Dom Toretto killed my father, but you were the man that pulled the trigger. And it's just like, and then he takes off the mask and he's like, whoever you are, you brought out the wrong some bitch. And I'm like, okay. What did Kramer say on side? I'm out.
But the funny thing is, I saw the revolver like everybody else pull out, and I said, all right, bro. Y'all could have just don't need to be post credit. Just add this in the movie.
So here's what's gonna happen. And I said this during Fast Summer, and you agreed. He was gonna come back at some point because we saw he had the worst 2022 that anyone could ever have. Because he hyped up Black Adam, 20 years in the making. I've been wanting to make this movie for 20 years. It's a passion project of mine. It makes no money. And when I mean no money, it's because it made back the money they spent on it. Yep. Not just the budget of the actual movie, because they promoted the fuck out of this movie, and that costs money. And he said, no, it actually made money. And then WB had to be like, sir, can you explain where the money is that this movie made? Because we need this money more than you need this money. So he brings back the XFL. That was abysmal. I don't care what you say as someone who would tune in at XFL games. I watched that championship game last Saturday. He gives them a fucking Pee-wee trophy at the end of it. Like it's a green X and like a silver, like you know that shit at Walmart where it's like decor. That's what he gave them.
Yeah, he was fouled for that. Well, I can't even just blame him. The association was fouled for that little trophy, bro. That participation trophy.
But he comes back to this franchise because it's the last. He's making Amazon movies. That's how bad it is. His next movie is an Amazon movie. The
Christmas movie, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so he definitely was going to have to come back.
And
he can't wrestle no more.
Oh no! Again, what did we say for months? We've been saying like these idiots, these stupid idiots, think he's going to come back and wrestle. I'm like,
no, they've been saying that for 2 years, and I said, bro, is he going to get stem cells?
No, is he going to get off his fucking cycle? Because that's the only way that's possible. I mean, come on.
And that's not going to help him, bro. He's 51 years old, yo.
John Cena this week just said, I can't wrestle anymore. My body is done.
And he's 45.
Yeah. And you still see in this, like, you still see like John Cena in this movie is 18 times bigger than the normal person. But in the wrestling context, it's like, yeah, we've seen him compared to Austin Theory. He looks just the same now. Before it was something different. But like, again, to kill off John Cena, I can't. God, these smoke and mirrors, fake deaths are the worst.
Hey, what I was about to say this. So somebody said they killed off John Cena because The Rock was going to come back. What if we get The Rock and John Cena in this next one?
So Rock came.
Vince is going to have an aneurysm, y'all.
No. Dwayne Johnson is coming back in a whole separate storyline. He won't be on the same set that these other people are on. They'll probably give him like 3 to 4 cast members, but he'll be operating in his own story. That's because that's what Fate of the Furious was. They gave him the Jason Statham stuff because there was the backstage heat with him and Vin Diesel and Tyrese.
They made up though. They said.
Did they?
Yeah, Tyrese, Black Tie, and The Rock said they made
Black Tie. Yeah, I don't know if I'll believe it.
It's cool.
You gotta make up, I guess, if you want to be down with The Rock in the sequels, but
yeah,
he has to make up to them because he had to make up to them because he needs this more than them.
Who?
Roman Cott needed more.
Wait, who needs what more than what?
Dwayne Johnson needs it in terms of a mainstream property because Black Adam tanked all his other property. Like I don't think they're gonna make any more Jumanji movies.
Yeah, but
how we know
tomorrow, it's probably easier for The Rock to get a starring role in a film than Tyrese. Like, what's the last Tyrese movie you saw before Fast X? Fast 9?
He was playing SWAT member.
No, Tyrese does VOD movies because
you watch them.
Fuck no.
So that's what I'm saying.
I don't watch Jumanji, Cal. Like,
but how much? But I mean, yeah, you didn't watch it. But how much did The Rock get paid versus how much whoever the fuck paid Tyrese? Let's not act like Tyrese has got a lot of shit going on where he can make choices. He has to keep his wagon hitched to this shit because he ain't got nothing else going on.
Oh, definitely.
Child support.
But Dwayne Johnson had to come back because this rumored Hobbs and Shaw 2 can't get off the ground.
No, of course.
Fast 11. I think Fast 11 is going to be that woman spinoff, and it's going to be
of course. Mm-hmm. But if $7 also wants to produce fucking Last and Furious or whatever the fuck, like he could make his own shit. Like I don't think The Rock is that hard up where like he needs to do this. Gal Gadot needed this more than The Rock needed this.
They were both in Red Notice, Cal.
But no, because don't say they were both in Red Notice and mistake that the fucking Rock is the one that said, hey, white man, I want you to direct this and write this, bring my homies in, and then I'll make sure that we get the money to do it. Come on, Gal Gadot, she couldn't make a Wonder Woman 4 happen right now. If The Rock really wanted to, he could make some shit happen. He still got name. Gal Gadot, Tyrese, fucking Jason Statham. They need this shit more than Vin Diesel needs this more than anybody else there needed.
No, Jason Statham is in the Meg 2. He's got his other
Meg 2, my guy.
You didn't see that trailer, Cal?
Do I want to see the Meg 2?
I got to see the first one.
The Meg 2. Tyrese ain't even got a Meg 2. And I don't know what Gal Gadot's got going on next. I bet you The Rock's got The Rock is supposed to be in the live action live action what you call it, Moana? Come on, bro. Come on.
What's he doing? This live action Moana is
that you
him
got to
and
get on a Disney X, bro. Again, Little Mermaid may have to make like $500 million this
no
weekend.
live action Moana is him in 2012 coming back to wrestling, being like, you know what, I need to restart this fire. I gotta, you know,
Yeah.
But it was a mega hit. That song got like 1 billion plays on YouTube.
And guess what? Fast X is Ludacris and Tyrese being like, yeah, thanks for remembering that we were in the franchise so we can make a movie this year. Like we got to remember who the real movers and shakers are in this situation. The Rock's in a slump right now. I do not disagree, but he's also still the most bankable out of a lot of these cats, Jason Momoa included.
Bankable. What did Black Adam do?
Yeah, the flop, the DC flop. Yeah, he was in a bad situation. It was already going to be bad. You can't tell me that anybody is surprised that the shitty DC film that they threw to the wayside in between transition periods, like what are we talking about? That's the Bob Backlund right there. Ain't nobody worrying. That's the Iron Sheik right there. Ain't nobody worrying about that shit. They worried about what's coming up next. There were and what the Rock been doing before then? Let's not act like the Rock's been shitty for the last decade. Why was the Rock brought to the franchise? It wasn't because he was in a slump. It's because they needed him, right?
When he showed up, that was the perfect combination of two things. His star power was on the rise, and the franchise was at a point where like, oh shit, this is a big deal. Like people took it seriously. It was the ultimate like they needed each other, because outside of it, you saw Rampage. Look at the budget of Rampage and look at the gross. It's like
who was starring in Rampage though? It wasn't Tyrese.
But that's the thing. Like it might as well not have been like that. He isn't box office.
I don't know, man.
I mean, box office in terms of like 300-400 million. These movies peak out. That's why Jumanji's became like a huge sleeper, because that movie made $1 billion twice. I think each one made $1 billion, but like everything else, it's all middling. Who
in the last?
That's why he went to Netflix, and that's why he's at Amazon. Like with these, like reviving Moana.
When Tom Cruise and this last batch of movie stars is gone, you got The Rock and like two other people. Like we not gonna act like he wasn't and still isn't one of the most viable mainstream acts now.
The Rock has now been grouped in Tom Cruise's class because Tom Cruise is stuck around being like, come on, like
but that's kind of odd though. That like it's Chris Jericho isn't on par with some of these other people just because he's been wrestling for 20 years and been able to wrestle for 10 years longer or whatever. Like he's still an old motherfucker, and how often is he working?
Mm-hmm. But also too, what I was talking about, not to cut you off, this is what me and Dave's been saying for years now. There's no more movie stars. The one that we talked about earlier,
everyone's been saying that.
You're preaching to the choir. I had somebody write that up. 2018, 2019, the death of the movie star. Go. It is what
send that article to me, because that's saying a lot. Because that was 5-6 years ago, and then look where we at now with this writer strike, which is going to make it worse because a lot of people don't know how to get busy and get creative.
It's going to be reality TV.
By default, we might have The Rock for the next 10 years. We might have Tom Cruise for the next 10 years.
November 18th, 2019.
Kevin Hart going back to doing stand-up. And he was a draw for like this last decade. He was a draw for like 10 years.
This movie star stuff has been dead, and I think if Tom Holland, somebody mentioned Tom Holland earlier. He's not the star.
No, but actually, again, the biggest shock of last year was that Uncharted made money. Like, how the fuck did Uncharted not bomb? I know it's a video game property, but it's like they also went to see Spider-Man be in the video game movie. That's how
they went. They went to see Spider-Man, and then they went to go see the video game movie at some point. Like I don't, because it's not like Uncharted is the only film that he's done. Cherry was a bomb. But that was an Apple TV movie. No one was going to see that movie anyway. He's not making the movies that people are like, yo, this is the next movie star guy. Mm-hmm.
And he knows that.
He's Spider-Man, and he happened to be he's Spider-Man, and he worked at the company that made Spider-Man that wanted to make their video game movie pop. He didn't make that movie pop. Mark Wahlberg didn't make that movie pop. Like the surprise with that, it just made money. That was not that movie was not seen as like a boon. They're not beating down the walls and making Uncharted 2 film.
Right.
Not until they convince him again, because then, like you said, he was definitely locked in with Sony to make that movie because they've been trying to make it for 10 years. But if they had put anyone else in that movie, it's not going to make the 450 that it made or whatever. It would have made.
I think if you would have put Nathan Fillion, yeah, because that's who everybody wanted to begin with.
Not because he's a TV actor.
I think this was one of those movies where, because what's the one thing everybody boasts about Uncharted? It looks like a movie. I think, and they had 4 of those games. It's a very successful franchise. I think if you Mark Wahlberg and fucking Kieran Culkin, I don't know, whoever you would want to be.
Mark Wahlberg says it on Wall Street. He's like, Wall Street, the docuseries about him that came out in 2020 or 2021. He's like, I have the script to Uncharted. We're finally going to make it. He's like, I had the script 10 years ago and I was supposed to be the star of the movie.
No, right.
He's like, but now I'm playing the old guy in the movie. So like, again, 10 years ago, Mark Wahlberg would have been Nathan Drake and that movie would have maybe made money. Who knows?
But let me ask you a question. And we don't need to harp on it, but in 2022, would you call Tom Holland what Mark Wahlberg was 10 years ago when he was that guy? That's all I'm trying to say. The bar,
because Tom Holland got looked into one role being Spider-Man versus Mark Wahlberg got to play.
But again, just like Tom Holland's not a movie star. He's a guy who's playing Spider-Man. Just like Chris Evans isn't a movie star. He's a guy playing Captain America. And I'm not trying to discredit what they do. They're doing their thing as working actors in Hollywood, but they're not the ones that people are saying, I need to see Chris Evans in this film. Because when you see the other Chris Evans films, they're not packing them in like they're They're not packing them in like they're packing them in for the MCU films he's in.
No, that's why
they're parts of a package.
That's why he made The Gray Man. That's why he made Ghosted. He went to the market where people can see him without having to show up to the theaters because he knows he's not a draw. He went to Netflix, then he went to Apple TV. Like that's Dwayne Johnson went to Netflix with Red Notice, then went to Amazon with Red One. Like these people who fear they're losing their cred go to the streamers, and then while they have something cooking again, like he has live action Moana. I think that will do well. Yeah,
I think I think there is truth to what you're saying, but I also think
because they have to have a safety net. Ryan Reynolds has made that safety net with Six Underground, Red Notice. Because then once you work with Netflix, you're locked in. He did the Adam Project last year. No one talks about that, but then he had Free Guy, and that was the sleeper hit of the pandemic, just like Uncharted was a sleeper hit in terms of like this movie that looks like it's a bomb.
But you know the one thing that you're not talking about, which is the one thing I'm thinking about in terms of The Rock and Ryan Reynolds, all these other people being movie makers in a time during the pandemic where you can't pack them into the theaters, that's guaranteed money. Good movie, bad movie, whatever. They know what they're getting into. The Rock knows that, hey, we're going to make this 96-minute action, whatever. We're going to coast on some jokes, do some fun stuff at a soundstage in Atlanta. I'm going to get tens of millions of dollars and that be it. Like, I don't know. I think that movie was supposed to go in the theaters, but I don't think Red Notice is something where they're like, damn, that was about to be our one. I think a lot of the time.
No, that was the highest. That was the legit highest bidder when that script. But it also did help. Like it was one of those movies. Like had it went to theaters, it would have bombed. Just like Skyscraper didn't light the world on. Like Skyscraper barely made
a shitty movie.
Back.
Yeah,
Rampage barely made money back. Like
shitty movies. Yeah,
his movies that aren't Jumanji or Fast and Furious.
San Andreas. We could name him. He's got a lot of. He's got a lot of mid action films. I think making a lot of those mid action films can then bolster him doing a Hobbs. Like you've seen him before do this.
That's what I mean. Where he realized he had to come back to this, just like Tom Cruise at some point realized I have to stick with Mission Impossible and make that my go-to. And it finally clicked for Top Gun Maverick, where he's like, now is the right time. It's the right script. It's the right atmosphere to make this movie. And then after that came out last year, they're like, Tom Cruise has 3 new movie ideas that are not Mission Impossible or Top Gun related. It's a drama, it's a musical, and
we'll see how many of them shits get made though. I mean,
and I'm like, I don't think those movies will get made.
But I think outside of everything, 10 years ago, I think The Rock was a big. I'm just going by the names we're talking about right now. 10 years ago, I think The Rock was a bigger movie star than Mark Wahlberg, Tom Holland.
Well, that's why they work together for Pain and Gain.
I mean, I'd have to look at what Tom Cruise is doing 10 years ago.
He had Oblivion, but then the next year in 2014, he had Live, Die, Repeat. So they were all like that. And again, those three guys are fighting the comic book movie wave. Like it head to head every other weekend. It's like a movie that one of these guys is trying to put out versus a Marvel movie, a DC movie. Like 2013 is Iron Man 3 came out that year. Thor the Dark World came out that year. And all those guys are like, fuck, we got to compete against the superhero movies. How?
Be The Rock. Because I think the only thing is, out of those names that we're mentioning, unless it's because Tom Cruise has been winning off of Legacy, Top Gun Maverick. It's phenomenal film, but
it's a legacy play. Yeah,
new IP. I don't know how quick they're rushing to make that film. The Rock feels like the only movie star Tom Cruise does his thing, but right now, and I say that because I think regardless of anybody else, for the most part in that Fast X series, in that Fast X film, The Rock feels like the one who it'd be the easiest for him to walk into a room and walk out with a deal.
Project. Yeah.
And I think it slump or not, I don't think you can't discount that when you've got fucking Tyrese's on the other side. Like, you know, they're part of the legacy, but they need that shot in the arm to get to the 10th film, the 11th film, or whatever. And it ain't been Gal Gadot.
Well, that was
by default too. My fault, Davis. By default, he's the biggest star out right now.
Period.
Because again, it's nobody else. And then as I'm listening to you two talk about it, yeah, the comic book IP was big back then. We get into the danger zone now because comic book IPs, they always gonna make money, but for the most part, people like I don't really know what this is about.
No, well, it's just been, what are they calling it? Superhero fatigue. Like people, phase 4 was too much. I think people are tired of it. They want other shit.
And it's the writing strike too. So it's like,
well, that too.
You got to get busy right now. I think everybody got to get busy right now.
But again, like the reasons we're talking about Guardians at the start of the show, like how you had brought up on BRP because we didn't talk about it. You're like, no one's talking about this movie. I'm like, I think people realized it was good. Like they liked it a lot. And they don't want to talk about something that's going to be good. Like they brought up how bad Ant-Man Quantumania was, or how bad Thor: Love and Thunder was. If something's going to be good, it's just going to slip through the consciousness and then people don't like good stuff. They
don't. I think people like good stuff, but they like talking about stuff that they hate. I realized that in trying to. For a while, I mean, I'm not going too deep. For a while, I ran a website, and I found that I was running a website when I was first working at Complex, and it was easy to see because we would track the numbers every day. If we dropped a feature and that feature had some type of controversy, whether it was an overdose or somebody stole a beat or, you know, whatever the case may be, some type of drama, hit, 1,000 hit, 10,000 hit, 20,000, whatever case may be. Oh, the best song of the year drops, and you just happen to drop the video that day. Oh, 900 views, whatever. Like it, and people will be online. Yeah, I like this song. They'll add it to the playlist, but they're not gonna hype that up the way that they're gonna salivate at the mouth to tell you why they hated whatever Randy Orton did in that match, or whatever The Rock did in that movie, or whatever the fuck song came on the radio. Like they want to get that because it's free. Because they feel like somebody could see them. I don't know what it is, but to let somebody know how much you hate some people.
Because someone can argue about why you're wrong. No one's going to argue about why you're right, really. Because that's the thing, especially in wrestling podcasting, is when you are making a point that you feel is right, someone won't allow you to be convinced otherwise. Right. Like if I try to say, Cal, you should like Darby Allin, because I like Darby Allin, and you're like, I understand why you like him. but that's not gonna convince me to like him. But if
Right.
I dislike, Omos, you're gonna if you feel strongly about Omos, you're gonna be like, well, actually, you should like Omos because he serves a purpose. Like,
Mhm.
But that's thing, like we're gonna be shat on Fast X. Like, there's nothing good about Fast X, unfortunately. It's like, I gave it a generous 2 stars because I'm like,
I love it.
it was one of those. I always on Letterboxd, it's tough. I always give either a half star more, half star less, because I'm like, yeah, like. But when
Oh,
I
you
saw
a
him, just
half
like,
star type of guy? I give
in
you
terms
either.
like,
I'm gonna give you 5 or a 1.
well, no, because it's like to me, like it's really a 1.5, but I'll be 2 to be nice because like some of the stuff did work a little bit, like John Cena using the car that he says like I raced your dad in this car, the car from Fast 9, the blue Mustang, like because when the kid thinks he's gonna have the big monster truck, he's like, no, we're driving this car, and he's carrying this big ass canoe, and it's like a secret spy plane the whole time. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool, but I'm like, that doesn't serve this movie. That's
Right.
that's another movie.
I
Like,
get it, Joe.
Spinoff.
yeah, no, for real. Like,
for the Fast and Furious Spy Kids animated series that's hitting Netflix
No,
soon.
it's
That's
one
how
of those
that
things.
damn scene seemed like it was. It looked like some of the Spy Kids.
But it was cool. Like he drove down a dam. That was like they came up with good ideas a little bit in this movie of like,
To do
yeah,
shit.
drive yeah, you haven't driven down a dam yet. I mean, it being on fire and the fire creeping through the back of your son's head is kind of too much and dumb. But I'm like,
Jesus.
there was
Yeah,
some stuff in it.
they almost messed up little man's S curl.
Who was that little boy? That's supposed to be his son for real. That
Yeah.
was just a dream.
Yeah, the kid.
We're not doing that again.
He was born Spanish or white, then he turned Asian. Now
Oh, because that's him. That's
Puerto
supposed to be Vin Diesel and Michelle Rodriguez.
No, Vin Diesel and Elsa Pataki's son.
Oh, but they could be anything because you really like Vin Diesel
Yeah.
is so ambiguous.
Is anything, yeah.
Man,
But
that
Elsa
dude
Pataki
black.
is legit like Brazilian or Spanish, I believe. Chris Hemsworth, his wife.
Well, that's at a certain point
Yeah.
when like certain races mix.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard to tell. Like it's not even a new thing. There, fucking Bill Cosby. There's an episode of the Cosby Show where they did that, where the teacher and the woman was like Native American. She had like 3 different. She was like very very fair skin, but like black curly hair, but like she thin, but like she didn't have like European features. Like I don't know. It's just, it really depends on these damn regions.
Well, that was the
So
argument.
are we talking about Davis Future Kids, or I'm confused? What are we talking about?
Well, that was the argument. That was the argument for John Cena in Fast 9. Like, how is he related to Vin Diesel? Like, look at Vin Diesel and look at John Cena. How are these 2 men related?
We'd be talking about Davis's kids if Davis was going to have a kid with like Gal Gadot, or like what's the most like ambiguous, like racially ambiguous woman that
Tyra Banks? I don't know.
Tyra Banks? No,
I was just thinking. I was just thinking about a black woman.
It's got to be some type of like I don't want to say like an Asian.
Hey man, I was
like
just going by his preference. He like
Spanish mix. I'm saying because you got at a certain point like a woman from Spain is good. The features because like that's Spanish features, but it's fair skin, and you mix with like black or like a Bahamian or something like that. Like again, you won't know where's that kid from, Compton or Calgary? Like who's this kid? Anyway, when I see that little kid, that United Nations kid that was in that car, I don't know whose child that's supposed to be.
If I have a kid with Zia Lee and come out Puerto Rican, then yeah, we start a new race.
No, fact. If you and Zia Lee had a kid, that may be what the kid looked like. That's not Zia Lee's hair. That'd be your
That would be, yeah.
Oh my god!
All right, Tiger Banks here. Tiger Banks.
Would you name the kid? Wait, if you had a little Tiger Woods baby, you would name the kid Tiger for real?
No, Bruce Leroy.
Bruce Lee Moriarty Banks.
Yeah.
Banks Lee Moriarty. That would be the kid's name.
There you go. He got the glow already.
Got that glow.
No, a woman who is like that is Mantis Palm Klebanov. She's like Korean but French.
Oh yeah. What's Julia? She's like Italian and Japanese.
Oh,
that's what I'm talking about. Like those, because you look at her and it's like if you didn't hear her speak in Japanese, you wouldn't have assumed that like Japanese would have been, you know, where she any part of her makeup. But anyway,
Pressure.
Yeah.
shouts out to Mixon.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm obviously pro that. So
Yeah, we know that's why I had the joke about 2 minutes ago.
But no, speaking of trailers, because I mentioned the Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 trailer. That was amazing. But Cal, did you see the trailer for The Creator?
What's The Creator?
John David Washington's new movie?
No, I did that. He got like a weird hat on. I think I saw the image for the trailer. I didn't. What is that a Focus Features? Who's putting that movie out?
No, it's a Fox 20th Century Fox 20th Century
20th Century Studio. Does it look good?
To me, it does. To Banks, it doesn't look good.
It looked like another Armageddon movie, man.
The Contender.
How many times
The Creator?
I'm sorry, that's coming out this year.
Yeah, September it said or something like that. It's in the fall. It's by Gareth Edwards, who made Rogue One, and you can tell because this movie looks like what he wanted Rogue One to be.
Oh, Gemma Chan is in this. Ken Watanabe. Damn, they got a pretty solid cast.
I'm into it, but like it's funny that the whole point of the trailer is like from Gareth Edwards, who brought you Rogue One. I'm like, I can tell because this looks like a lot of the same shots from Rogue One, except they took that movie from him because they're like, this movie's too dark and adult, and he's like, but that's why you hired me. And then halfway through, Kathleen Kennedy, the worst manager of a game since Doc Rivers, is like, nope, you're fired. So
they almost had Benedict Wong in this, but he got replaced by Ken Watanabe. I guess Wong has scheduling conflicts.
But this is like you just mentioned, a new IP. It's supposed to be a big sci-fi epic, and they're kind of promoting it as such. And it looks amazing again. And you can tell it doesn't look trashy in terms of like how certain other movies are, because some people don't have that scope and look like other directors do, like have a vision. And Gareth Edwards is someone that has a vision.
Man, Anthony D'Alessandro from Deadline Hollywood was at CinemaCon in April and said that the production design makes this movie makes Blade Runner look like child's play.
Oh, here we go.
It looks that ill because that's. I mean, we're not talking about like.
But Blade Runner 2040, the original Blade Runner, or 2049?
It just said Blade Runner. It didn't say 2049. Yeah. My thing is, Blade Runner is like influential, not just with like sci-fi, like the whole scene. What is it? The cyberpunk? What's it called? The that comes from Blade Runner. Like that's not just there's video games, there's books, it's all that comes from that. So to say that this makes that look like nothing, like
because it's that thing where like I guess Banks, you wouldn't even know, like Destiny, or it's like that mixture of like
the poster looks like Destiny.
Yeah, like real world, landscapes, mountains, but like sci-fi villages built on top of them or under them. This
shit look like Westworld.
but better.
No, but better, yeah.
But it's the thing, like, is this something that will make John David Washington a star? Because Tenet was supposed to do that, but Tenet came out during COVID, and then unfortunately he had two bad movies back to back with with Malcolm and Marie and Amsterdam. Like he partnered with probably two of the most toxic people in Hollywood, Sam Levinson and David O. Russell. So
he fucked up there. But I mean, you don't know. You don't know. This looks like this is better. What was that movie 65? This looks like everything these other movies were trying to be.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And when you saw 65, the whole point of that, like, why does this look like an Entourage movie, like a fake movie?
Wait, what? The kid's got a hole in his ear, but it looked like it went all the way through. What?
Yeah.
No, this looks hard. Yeah, this looks hard.
See?
He got it. Yeah, it's a robot. Oh shit! Yeah, this looks hard. I'm sorry.
The whole point of the movie is that AI controls the world. So I know you'll be freaked out. Now. Is that AI is taking over their universe and that they fight back against the AI?
I can't get close to AI.
Art imitates life, dude. I keep trying to tell people. They keep coming up with these movies like we see it right now.
It's ripped from the headline.
That's why he came up. That's probably why it's coming out now, because the whole Chat GPT, like.
Wait. You know what the most smart dumb thing I heard or I saw online today or yesterday? People were like, "Oh, you got to stop posting your profile pictures on the timeline. That's how they're getting the images for the Chat GPT for the AI. And I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. But remember, like 3 years ago when they had those apps where it was like, oh, upload your image and you get to see what you look like when you old, or upload your image and get to see what you look like, and what fine art looks like you. Yeah, y'all already gave them y'all images 3-4 years ago, dummy, when you uploaded them to Facebook and Instagram and all that. Where do you they not pulling this stuff from out the ether?
They're taking them from us right now.
The moment you got social media,
that's why you got a podcast like this these days. You got to start podcasting like this, so they can't take.
They'll take your voice though. They took Drake's voice and put them on the Billboard chart
on the Ice Spice song. What did he say? As Ice Spice.
Thought I was feeling you.
No, I heard a little snippet. It was outrageous to hear Drake say what Ice Spice.
And that's why he's trying to sue whoever did that.
Because it was like what, and he like, I'm like, wait a minute, like
the thing with the AI with music is like all of the benefits are stuff that you shouldn't, like the regular consumer shouldn't be able to hear. Anytime I've talked to a couple of people with knowledge of production and how people would use AI, and it's so much like pre-production, behind the scenes stuff. Like you shouldn't be getting a record that you probably could. I mean, I think Grimes said if you make an AI with her voice or whatever, she just won't have. But I think
she of all people shouldn't have any.
But it's going to be those people that are going to just start doing that. You know, here, take it. But you know, I get 50%. But it's a lot of the stuff I'm hearing is a lot of idea generation. You know, what would this song sound like if this person was on there? And then you can hear them singing the hook that you wrote because AI, but at some point they should then be in the studio with you to actually get the real thing or whatever. But
Fast X almost seems AI written at this point. The only reason it doesn't is because they have to retcon things from the past, but anything new seems like, and all like the stunts seem AI driven because it's just like, what can we do now? Like he hits the thing to hit the bomb into the water, and I'm like, what in the Hot Wheels shit is this? Like
the only thing that people I've been paranoid about this stuff, so I've been reading up on it and watching videos. The one thing with those theories that people have is right now the AI is not written to be sentient. The AI is doing what the AI is supposed to do. Not yet. They got to flip the switch, but it's all based on input. So if I say that to say, like, if Fast X feels like it was written by AI, you would have to look at what they were influenced by. Like, because if they were feeding scripts from the last 9 Fast movies, it's kind of representative of what they've been making for those 9 movies. If they took if they had like an idea for the movies and they fed those scripts from these other movies into it could probably piece something like that together. But it's, even with the writer strike, they say the shows that you should be the shows that should be most fearful are the Young Sheldon type shows, the shows that have so much, because it's easier. Exactly. It's easier for an AI to write the script for an episode of Wheel of Fortune because it's been on for like 4 decades. Like it should know the structure and be able to plug in what Patton and everything would say at a certain point. AI can't write season 5 of Atlanta. No, even if you pump in all the black news stories, pump in all the memery that's out there, there's something up here that AI can't do yet.
But that's one of the reasons for the strike, as you know, and that was like the main focal point. Besides
immediately,
paid, which nobody gets paid from stream. They was like, no, you can't have no Chat GPT or you can't have an AI try to write this stuff, because the studios, if they could, they definitely would.
Will. Yeah,
because Grey's Anatomy, like you just said, you can do something like that that's been on for 20 years. The Simpsons, probably. You can run that for 20 years. You can run that to the ground.
AI could probably write the news. They if you see some of them videos, or they're already reading scripts. I forget who should. There's a video out there where they chop up different newscasts, and whatever the story was, line for line, word for word, each one of these different newscasters from all over was saying the same exact shit. So maybe some of that stuff could be AI. The MCU. It's I like you said, Drip. I think just the ability to connect different
Yeah, because
things and
that's
timelines is too much.
like I said, like the only part of Fast X that would seem AI written is just like he does something crazy with a car, but all
Right.
the stuff about connectivity to what you've done prior is like, well, that's them trying to retcon with additions, and well, now they want Charlize Theron to be a hero instead of a villain. Like that's something they are trying to do. But a show I am watching that seems AI written is Citadel, because that's like spies. They're together, but they're not together. They had a secret child, and it's his, and then her father's the evil terrorist. It's like, oh, I've seen this numerous times in 40 different things. So
Right.
it's, again, when I said it was CW's for spies, spies for the CW, that's what the show is. And Amazon spent 350 million on it. So it's like, that's why the writers are like, give us the residuals so we can, because you're gonna get shit like this. Like when you watch Citadel, it's like you can see the reshoots they were trying to do, just like in Fast X. Like, how can you reshoot something and just be like, I feel like this is gonna be okay? Like it's a whole different background behind you, or will you rewrite something on the fly to connect it to something brand new? Like the Alan Richardson part, when the heel turn happened, I was just like, oh no. And then like they show the fake flashback of him and Jason Momoa in the police building banks, and I was just like, so what, for
just
10
standing
years
there twice with that poorly green screen.
Yeah, and I'm like, for 10 years, one guy infiltrated the agency, and the other guy created this personal vendetta. Like, again, these Joker traps all over the world to capture, because that's what he is. Like, you watch
he's
this,
the Joker.
You can see him in the office, and he look at him like, "Oh, you might be bad for sure," and then see him again with the vote. Like, yeah, we could team up. I said, all right, bro.
Oh wait, now because the only scene that I see in the trailer that I even like is this part cool? Like them, because they pull a whole like first film
that
race.
was kind of mid.
No,
damn.
Because this is the who do you save part from The Dark Knight. She has a bomb on her car. He has a bomb on his car. How
they
do
got bombs on? There's bombs on the cars during the race. That's why.
Yeah.
That's why.
Meanwhile, he met her all of 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, and he's
already
taking
her
smitten.
word for who she is.
He's already smitten, but it's like, because I was with your sister.
And he's trying to get at the sister. I feel it, real sisters.
So it's just like, but that was but this officially kicks off. Guardians of the Galaxy did, because now we are in the summer box office season with Fast X, Spider-Verse. Some that's coming up. Oppenheimer, Barbie. Mission Impossible.
That last Oppenheimer trailer, I don't know, bro.
You still a detractor?
I'm not watching the All-Star Crackers, bro. I can't do it.
It was one trailer too many. I think they showed too much regular shit.
He had to, because he's like, no one's gonna come see this movie.
I was more into it when it was just fucking math equations and people putting Vaseline
you
on
like
their faces
cinema.
And shit. Yeah, I was trying to see some dope. Seeing this, and it's like, oh yeah, they're gonna build a town and they have to live there and make sure nobody who cares?
The teaser was brilliant when it's just him in the black and white room and the clock ticks down and they only show flashes, and they show flashes of like I'm like, oh, is this movie gonna be in black and white? And that's why I'm like, did he make his Mank? Like, did he try to say like, I'm gunning for that Oscar? And then you watch the new trailer, it's like, oh, there are scenes in color and then scenes in black and white. So I'm like, oh, he's doing that shit. Like, okay, trickery to be
I'm gonna have to see it. I don't think there's any way I'm gonna escape it. But I hopefully where I get to see it in IMAX. Like I know I'm only gonna be able to watch it that one time. I don't think if Oppenheimer's dope, I'll eat my words. But I feel like that may be a one watch for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it, but hey, it's getting cleaned up at the Oscars, man.
Oh yeah,
Martin Scorsese, that new movie, standing ovations, perfect scores. Yeah, they said Leonardo DiCaprio's best role ever. Yeah,
Killers of the Flower Moon.
They said the ending is great. Yeah, that it's over.
For something that's, again, 3 hours, and that teaser was amazing when that dropped the other day. I'm like, holy shit! I'm like,
I haven't gotten into all of it, but the story is based on sounds like it's wild. So
about the Indian reserves.
Yeah, some selling the people or something like that. I forget. Something wild. Something wild.
It's gonna be a dope Pocahontas, even though it's an old book.
What else? Oh, we got Transformers: Rise of the Beast. I don't know why they just didn't call it Beast Wars. That's what pisses me off.
Thank you.
Maybe the next one. Maybe this is the beginning.
Yeah, probably. But still, it's that thing where like IP names are stupid. Like
Optimus Prime out there cussing now.
Yeah, what the fuck you? Who's this fucking guy?
We skipped over that part, but I mentioned it. But like again, in Guardians of the Galaxy, Chris Pratt says, "Open the fucking door!" Like,
oh yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
That was fun. What was it? Because they
Grab
like,
it.
what do you mean? He was like, "What do you mean?
Push it.
Open the fucking door."
And now pull it. Why? Open the fucking door.
I popped on that. I popped on that line.
Now he could. He's not
knowing how to drive because I was on Earth 30 years ago.
Yeah, what the fuck? Like, what do you expect? That's a good point.
Now, real quick about him, he could be the go-to guy, but he won't be because he booking all the right roles. He about to do the voice of Garfield too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right, Chris Pratt, right?
No, yeah, but he's just not. He's not that guy.
No, but his case showed like he made the jump to be a serious actor. We kind of talked about Fuso, but like he had Jurassic World that made $1 billion. He had Guardians that made 700. So like he got locked into 2 big franchises. Him and Jennifer Lawrence made that movie. It tanked.
Passengers.
Yeah, but that they made that movie because of the 2 biggest stars in Hollywood at that time being him and her, based off franchises and
guess what? They weren't movie stars enough to make that movie.
Exactly. What do you do since then? Like, he's stuck with Guardians. He's stuck with Jurassic World. He has a whole Amazon show, but like Banks said, like he's stuck with voice work. Lego Movie, Mario, and now
way better paychecks. Not to cut you off, way better paychecks that you can get.
Yeah. That's also cultural relevance. Like you're going to be in kids' ears from 6 to 30 when they have their kids. Like,
damn, look, that's the guy who was the voice of Mario when I was a kid. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Because he was supposed to do 6 different movies. Like he had the Magnificent 7 remake that didn't do well with him and Denzel. But again, that was I think worse. Like he was supposed to announce him as a movie star, and he's next to this other icon of the past. But like he tried to do these other things, and they didn't.
He got cooked.
Yeah. The system. Not only did that system fail, but Banks and I've been talking about this for a year now because HBO worked it so well. But the streaming model is the way to go. Like, what are you saying about Fast X? Like, I'm like, that's every movie now. Like, if you miss a movie the first 2 weeks in the theater, it'll be at your home the week after.
Quick, yeah.
Like within the next month, within the month of its release, it'll be at home, and that's how they're going to survive. That's how Hollywood's going to be able to keep going and the studios are linking up those deals anyway. Whether it's their own service, like Dungeons and Dragons is now on Paramount Plus, but the whole reason they made Air was so Amazon could have a Ben Affleck, Matt Damon movie. But those guys are like, we need to keep the movie theater system afloat. Give us a 1 month window in theaters, and then it's on the service. Like that's what's going to happen going forward. Like the only thing that's going to be somewhat different is if a movie's a huge hit, like Top Gun Maverick didn't go to Paramount Plus until almost 6 months after it was in theaters because Tom Cruise was milking the fuck out of that movie, and they needed the box office too. But Disney's like Quantumania is now on Disney Plus, so they have that kind of longer window of 3 to 4 months. Little Mermaid will come out next weekend, and it'll probably be at home.
That is out coming soon. That's coming out soon. Jeez. Haley Bailey.
Haley Bailey.
Halle Bailey.
I almost said Halle Bailey. Yeah, because it's like Haley. Like
Haley Bailey.
But everything else in that movie looks bad except her. Like. The talking animals.
You said that right, Drip. You said that right.
No, because the talking animals look bad. Like Javier Bardem looks ridiculous as King Triton. Like,
I didn't know who else.
That's still gonna make like $500 million.
Yeah, Halle Bailey about to be a star. She's already on. She's already in Times Square. Watch.
Yeah. She a bigger star than her sister.
She a bigger star than Tom.
No, she would be after this movie. She will be.
That's funny. That's funny
because she'll have a whole singing career. Like, but again, Tom Holland, he's kind of spoken that maybe he doesn't want to be because that's the thing. Like, no one wants to be the next big movie star. It's too much pressure. And the guys who want,
they just can't be the biggest movie star.
But the guys who want it get it too late. Like Glenn Powell is trying to be the movie star now, but it's like, bro, you're in your mid-30s. It's too late. Your window's closed for the next 10 to 15 years at that.
Not necessarily.
In terms of having the Tom Cruise, Tom Hanks run where you have it at 27, 28. Like again, George Clooney said the best thing that happened was him. That fame came late in his life. John Hamm, same thing, but it's like
wait, George Clooney was never the biggest movie star.
But he was a big star, is what I'm saying. Like with the
was a
Oceans
draw.
and then
Yeah, he was a draw, but he wasn't that guy because the ER was a huge show. But
Well, I think that he popped. I think that the TV kind of kept him in people's faces, because that's every week. That's reruns and everything.
Which is the best money you can get. Again, voiceover work and TV money beats movie money all the time.
He probably did well with his movies, though. I mean, I don't know what he was making, but I'm going to assume that
Batman and Robin.
But I'm saying I'm talking like the non fuckery, like the shit you not watching.
Didn't he have that movie with Julia Roberts besides the Ocean's movies?
No, I mean the Ocean's movies are a good example.
he had well, he teamed with he was Soderbergh's #1 guy for a while because he had Out of Sight, the
I
Ocean's
don't even
movies.
think with those though. Hold on, where's his film?
And everything fails in comparison to him being a co-owner of Casamigos, because boy,
he found another
Casamigos is Coatel Pro.
Well, and that's why The Rock started Terramana. Like you figure out other avenues outside of Hollywood.
Ain't nobody drinking that.
What, Terramana?
Yeah, ain't nobody drinking that. I see Casamigos, bro. I see Casamigos just by walking.
Because Casamigos is on the NBA telecast. It's brought to you by Casamigos.
Hey, anybody's listening to this, be a man. Put that Casamigos down, drink some Crown Royal or some Douce.
Facts. From Dusk Till Dawn, Thin Red Line,
great.
Out of Sight, Three Kings.
The story behind that movie is funny.
Them Oceans movies. He was in Spy Kids.
At the end, for 2 minutes, yeah, he's the director of the Spy.
Hey, he was the president, Diego Devlin. I never watched.
He has the black bars that cover his eyes. Yeah.
He's got a lot of random. Fantastic Mr. Fox. He's got like a lot of random shit.
That movie is hilarious.
Hail Caesar. Yeah, it's always.
Yeah, but he became a Coen Brothers guy based off of now and
I actually
he got a little decent resume.
I'm about to say never sat and really looked at his and mind you, that's just films. He was on Facts of Life.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. That's mid 80s. Like he's been doing his damn thing for a minute, but yeah, he was doing a shitload of TV, and I think until like 2009.
For like what, 7 years or something like that.
109 episodes total.
4 or 5.
94 to 2000.
Yeah.
Because my mom used to watch that all week. She was a George Clooney guy.
He was on Roseanne for a bit. He had like a role on his Roseanne too. I don't know, man. I don't know. Shouts to George Clooney. Whatever. He's not a movie star anymore.
Not anymore. No.
It's just The Rock. It's The Rock.
The Rock.
And it's Tom Cruise.
Bro, Tom Cruise 60 years old.
Tom Cruise.
And he ain't slowing down. Can't stop, won't stop.
Break a leg tomorrow. It may be a wrap.
And he broke his ankle and it healed within 3 weeks.
That's that Scientology. He's a Thaden. He's clear, right? Is he clear?
Banks, you would know that. No.
Is Tom Cruise clear?
You study Dianetics, Banks. Can you?
You study Dianetics. Is funny. He may be clear. Is all I'm saying. That's the name of the episode. You study Dianetics. That's funny.
Yeah.
You study.
Well, he was just at the Janet Jackson concert, so I mean, again, he's not slowing down.
Who?
That's where I need
Tom Cruise.
He was on the table.
He took a picture of her, and she said it was great seeing you, T.
Wait, Tom Cruise like Janet Jackson?
He's trying to do the young jock.
Okay, that explains his first son or his only son.
That's not a Thaden.
They keep saying that kid adopted. That kid looks just like him.
No, it is adopted.
Stop the cat. No, that kid looked like him. Stop the cat.
Stop the cat. Wait, where were you doing the Tom Cruise young jock?
That was at on
that was on BET.
Park, right?
That was BET.
Yeah, in 06. I remember that vividly.
To promote Mission Impossible 3, my favorite Mission Impossible.
That fire Kanye song.
They said, get it, Tom, get it. And Vin Graves was laughing his ass off. Like,
and Tom Cruise, easy song to do.
And Tom Cruise does his thing of like
he don't know what the fuck.
Come on, guys, please. Like, come on.
I wonder if
jumping on Oprah couch. You're the only person in history able to do that.
I'm gonna mute this, but I just want to.
Maybe it's him and Oprah's child.
I need to see him.
Get
Yeah,
crunk on BET. Yeah, this definitely some 08.
Look at him. Look at.
Well, this is how I dance. Yeah, so it's
To be fair, everybody was doing that when they was doing the.
Look at him though.
That's really the dance right there.
It's really just in his knees though, huh? This is what he was
Yeah.
hitting his head though, right? Let's see if we can sync up what Tom Cruise is really doing.
What Tommy Davidson, he said, white people dance with the words.
I did. I saw that.
That is true. That is true. You got.
He said white people dance like 5-year-old black babies.
This is Crump. He was turning. Yeah, this is, he was like, yeah, I got this shit. I forget who he was talking to. Because that was that Big Tigger. I don't remember who that was next to him.
The beat is hilarious. The Ultimate Warrior.
Was that Big Tigger?
I can't. I think so.
Anyway.
Because remember, this is when they was going through hosts like AJ and Free left, and that's before they got what's her name, Roz Diaz, Pressure.
That's what I didn't know if that was her or not. I was trying to figure if that's who Shorty was. Anyway, we got to get out of here.
I never watched BET because I didn't have cable. And when I did, I was watching wrestling or Cartoon Network.
You shouldn't have asked Big Mike, can you watch BET? He would have been like, for sure.
That's what the kid wants to watch.
He got a Wu-Tang shirt on and tattoos.
That's what we're watching.
Yeah, he has Irish tattoos like a guy from Boston. Like
that's hard. Are they skulls? That looks lit.
I mean,
skulls on the left and then the shamrock on the right.
Yeah, I like this. I need to see like the skulls on the left. That looks like it's hard. I wanted to low key get a skull in my hand, or like
what are you in the House of Black?
Like a skull and the fucking teeth,
like the teeth. Yeah,
that
would be pretty dope. Yeah,
that shit would be
you want to get the Stone Cold skull?
I should.
Oh hell, son.
When you get to a certain age, you don't get no tattoos. It's like
if you have tattoos and you get them when you're older, so that's okay. But like, this is how he should have known Hulk Hogan was a racist piece of shit because he got tattoos at 56. Like,
yeah, he had a murder on his back.
Yeah.
Pause.
Yeah, you can't trust an old man who gets his first tattoo after like 45. You get just like you can't trust people who are bald by choice. Like Karrion Kross, that's when we should have known something was up because he was shaved. No, because he has a full head of hair, as you see.
Nah, right. He said, "Nah, we got to. This is my look."
Remember, y'all thought I was bald by choice.
You back now?
Yeah,
kinda. Hat on?
Yeah.
I mean, hey, it works here.
I've told you before. What if I give you like the Justin Bieber, Elton John hairpiece? So you have your normal sides, but you have like a top toupee that is just completely different.
Baby.
Would you just wear it regardless and like never address it? Because I told you I would never call you out. I would no sell it the entire time.
If you walked around with a Justin Bieber on his head?
If a hairpiece completely different from the natural hair you should have, I would be like, yeah, that's what Banks looks like. Yeah.
Yeah. And give me an S curl or something like that. I look like Shamar Moore in 98.
No.
You're doing too much. You just got to get a regular like Caesar.
Yeah, I do need to get a shape up though. It's been a month. It's been a month, bro.
I respect it.
But
haircut's $60 too, so
60,
I might go back to being bald.
They do
haircuts up here. I might actually go back to being bald.
You gotta go just get like I do, get haircuts by white women. Like, come on.
I
might do that. How much is it?
$25.
Yeah, I might have to go.
That's with the tip.
Damn.
Yeah. What type of tip?
So she said, all right, I will be in the back.
It's $20, so I just gave them $5 just because it's like,
Damn.
Yeah, $5 in Minnesota is like $500, so I understand.
It's not pesos, you dick.
Yeah, you may sound like it's a third world country.
Yeah.
Y'all got
it's right over there.
I'll be looking at it. I'm like, I might have to get with Jesse Ventura and get out there.
Jesus
I was there.
On that note, Banks, you're not really on social media, but where can people find you on?
I'm on Twitter.
Oh, you back on Twitter?
I'm solely on Twitter. I get to have fun on Twitter. That's why. On IG, all I see is just women having fun that I can't talk to because I can't afford it, and I just be like, I'm getting off here.
Yeah, you're getting off somehow. Yeah. Buddy.
Well, yeah. Imagination is great, kids. Keep your hands to yourself.
Some of these days, you don't need imagination based off what they do.
No, you just need a headset. That's $200.
God damn.
Cal, what about you? Where can people find you on social media?
At Cal on Twitter, but most importantly at Black Wrestling on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. That's where we at. Patreon.com/Black Wrestling. If you're watching this on the YouTubes, you missed like a whole 40 minutes of great content. And of course, every Thursday, 8:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, youtube.com/Black Wrestling. Give you 5 mics. Podcast of excellence. Shouts out to the squad. Drip.
You can follow me on Twitter at Davis, aka Drip, Instagram Davis DC. Like Hal said, every Thursday night, 8:35 Eastern. Patreon, we drop stuff every week. Black Watch, Black Wrestling Reaction Club, Bulls in a China Shop, and obviously White Noise. So keep paying the 1, pay the 10, and we'll see y'all next time. Peace.